All right, it's Wednesday, May 31st. This is an end of the day SPY recap. It's also the end of the month, so we'll go over the monthly chart in a second. In terms of today, we have a two-down day, red day. We took out the low of the previous day. We worked our way lower, and then as described in the pre-open video, we had a fair value gap here that might lend a little support. And the market just kind of traded down into this area and then bounced a little bit, still red on the day, but sort of a neutral looking bar when relative to where it opened. That sets up kind of an actionable signal for tomorrow, a two up kind of move. So we'll look for that and we'll see where the pre-market range is tomorrow. And if we open up higher and have a two up bar, then this can turn around that week. The weekly chart at the moment started with the 3 bar from last week. We took out the high, which was anticipated given the hammer look at this bar, and we've been trading down for the first 2 days of the week, but we're still well above the midpoint of the prior week. So if we can get a two up tomorrow, maybe that'll kind of work towards turning this weekly chart green. We'll have to just see. The target would be up here, which would be Tuesday's high, and we'll just see if that unfolds. It's also possible we continue lower, given the fact that the continuity at the moment is down, but we're, a bit of exhaustion risk. We're in a gap area where we could, maybe not have the momentum to the downside. So, especially looking at the weekly chart, this is a good area of support when you see the midpoint of this tail. So we'll see how it opens tomorrow, but there's definitely an actionable signal to the upside. In terms of just the structure, today was, I discussed in the pre-open video how I was looking to go short into this fair value gap. Yeah, I outlined it here, and we had a good kind of green to red move. That's exactly what I was hoping for, and it ended up with a great morning trade to the downside. Then after its second push lower, and if you even want to look at this as a possible pullback and a little push down here that failed, not surprising at all is that you had a pretty big rally to the upside, even though it was a relatively negative day around the board. Now, in terms of the monthly chart, this is a new month that starts, so that's why if we start higher tomorrow, the open of the month starts tomorrow, and we might start green right out of the gates. In terms of May, we ended up with a 3 bar, which means it's an outside bar, took out the lows and highs of the previous month. So there's no real actionable signal in terms of, with the green kind of close, you would think we might test higher. That's kind of what you're expecting in the month of June. But I discussed on a earlier video how when the monthly chart kind of is a little tricky to decipher, you go to the quarterly chart, and on the quarterly chart, we're kind of for 3 quarters now working. We took out the low of this red bar, and we've gotten up above the midpoint of that tail. So it looks like we're trying to get to that target to broaden out above this high right here. And that's why I've still been biased to the upside until what I need is the weekly chart to change to the downside. So, it's possible maybe we end the next 2 days not moving up or down too much, and we get a 2 up, a 3, 2 up, 2 down into next week. And that certainly would change things around. It would change the monthly chart, the new month back to red, and maybe we get a 2 down month, and a whole bunch of things to the downside could unfold depending how this weekly chart ends. But for now, I'm still seeing the broadening action to the upside. So let's see if we get kind of a chain reaction where, we get a 2 up maybe tomorrow, and we hit our targets, and that then is a chain reaction to get a weekly continuation to the upside, and then this quarterly chart, and the new month, starting to the upside. So we'll see if that develops. In terms of, if we get an up day tomorrow, let's say, and we can't reach our target, that'll be a sign that maybe, anytime you don't reach a target and then maybe, let's say we get a 2 up, it doesn't reach that area, and then we get a 2 down or something like that. All of a sudden, we're starting to see maybe we're going to get a 2, we can anticipate on Friday, if that happens, a 2 down week, which could lead to a 2 down month, and it could show the quarterly chart not reaching its target, and so on. So we'll see what unfolds. And finally, figured I'll just look at the yearly chart since we don't look at that often. Never forget, we're just an inside year at the moment, and it was kind of an outside bar for last year. So it looks like it's going to be a big inside year possibly, and then it's going to be up to next year whether or not we get an inside up or an inside down kind of thing. But when you have the inside year, that means at any moment you could be chopping around in here, and that's going to unfold, first on the monthly chart, then on the weekly, and so on. So, there's nothing long term that exciting to the upside, other than we're green and heading higher. So we stick with kind of the shorter time frames like the monthly chart, and we, as long as this stays green and the weekly charts are green, we'll continue to look at the buy side. So anyway, that ends today. It was a good trade on the downside here out of the gates here on the 15-minute chart, red to green to red move that had a nice very nice move early on. Some of the individual stocks, I traded the SPY to the downside, and then also I traded NVIDIA to the downside and there were two trades, a good short trade here at this blue line. Then there was a secondary trade here to buy puts if you wanted to do it. Took out the intraday lows that was anticipated. So, both of these trades were nice on NVIDIA. And even there was a Meta trade, I think, to the long side. Once I saw the market rebounding, I kind of went with Meta right here. I bought this reversal and I shot a video on that, and that had a nice trade for about an hour to the upside to the top of its range. So, there was both up and down today. And we'll see how the new month starts tomorrow with a possible actionable signal to the upside if it unfolds.